even though we have spent all of this year quarantine at home. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anissa Rumondang. I'm a landscape architecture student from Trisakti University. It's my pleasure to be your host for today's Kenalan. Now, on behalf of Trisakti University's Landscape Architecture Student Association, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you who are taking time out of your day to join us. Thank you so much for making time of your day to join us and thank God for His blessings given to all of us so that we can gather here good amid in this pandemic. Before we start this event, I would like to mention Honorable Mrs. Insinyur Hiniati Wijaya MSE as the head of Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Department, Honorable Professors from University Putra Malaysia, our Honorable Professor from Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Department, today's special speaker, Ho Xiao Sheng and Aina Mardia from the University Putra Malaysia, and lastly, to the Hijau Jakartaku 2020 committee and our dear friends that participate in today's Kenalan. Today is the seventh day of 8 days Kenalan event. This year, 2020 is the first time Kenalan being held by the Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Student Association. So actually, Kenalan is an abbreviation of Kepoin Anak Lanskap, which means getting to know with landscape architecture students. So at this event, we will discuss everything and anything related to landscape architecture, study, or profession. Kenalan is one of Hijau Jakartaku annual event. Hijau Jakartaku, which means Green May Jakarta. Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia where our campus located. Besides Kenalan, it also consists of webinar, student design competition, and our grand event musical. To formally take off our event this afternoon, it is my pleasure to invite Intan Fadila Birul Walidain as the Chief Executive of Kenalan 2020 to deliver her opening address. Okay, Kak Intan.
Ya, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Am Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Intan Fadila, as the Chief Executive of this event that called Kenalan or Kepoin Anak Lanskap. We are so excited and grateful because that our speakers, Ho Xiao Seng and Aina Madia from University Putra Malaysia, are willing to share their experience and knowledge to us. Hopefully, this event can connect landscape architecture student connection and share knowledge with each other. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Thank you so much, Kak Intan, for your warm opening. Next, I would like to invite Rizal Maulana Ardani as the Vice Chief of the Landscape Architecture Student Association of Trisakti University to deliver his opening speech.
Yes, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Nama Budaya. Greetings of kindness to all of us. The Honorable Chairman of the Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Department, Insinyur Hinijati Wijaya MSI, and her staff, friend from Valtel Trisakti University, the speakers for the Hijau Jakartaku 2020, and all participants, and of course the committee members who have worked hard to make this event a success. Praise the gratitude to the one and only God because of the blessings and gift we can meet today, and of course also be able to carry out this event. Kenalan is one of the Hijau Jakartaku series, which stands for Kepoin Anak Lanskap, which acquaintance event is not only to gain knowledge but also to be a place for sharing experience between landscape architect students, and hopefully with this we can all take their knowledge and experience. Okay, maybe enough for me. I hope this event can run smoothly, and that's all. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Rizal, for that great opening speech. So our topic today for the 7 days of Kenalan is interesting things in landscape architecture. Without further ado, allow us to invite our today's special speakers, Ho Xiao Sheng and Aina Mardia from University Putra Malaysia. Hi, Xiao, Aina. Okay,
A
so
very good
yeah.
afternoon to you guys. So the lecturers and the participants. Now I prepared the slide, and I'm going to share the slide. Okay.
Ya, selamat sore semuanya.
Sore.
Okay, so both of us are representative for speaker today's from University Putra Malaysia. We are actually not actually best student for to give us speech for you, but we are sharing our knowledge, we are sharing our experience, and also we are sharing with within two countries about a landscape architect. So here we go.
So today's sharing, it's we separate into three parts, which is the experience, the expectations versus reality as the landscape architecture students, and what make landscape neat in future. So let's begin. First is the experience.
Yeah, so we're gonna share our experience during our 4 year in taking studies in Bachelor of Landscape as Architect, since we are a final year student for this course. So this is actually during our studies, we are actually learn a lot of things that make us gain our knowledge about landscape. And actually, landscape is not about the green, because others people thinks when we are saying about the landscape, they are thinking about the green, they are thinking about the trees, shrubs, and others. But actually, when you go through the landscape architect, we actually a lot of link that we need to involve, which is we are linked with architects, we are linked with engineer, and also arborists to make a to make a design. Okay, so during our studies, we are sharing to you that we are gain knowledge. We are on doing on hands-on for the site, for the construction work. Our lecturer give us opportunities to take. We do on site, and kamu rasa sendiri kan gitu. Pengalamannya yang kamu kutip. Saya bisa ngomong Jawa ya sikit-sikit. Okay. So actually from the first year, we are involved with the basic design. Okay, and then we are go through with the small courtyard that we're gonna design, and then go upper, and we are from that we are understand from the bottom until a lot of things. So based on this picture, yes, we do the cultivation activities. We do for the herb garden that actually we clean up all the garden, and we put our plant itself until we can harvest the vegetation. So actually it's good for us because we are actually can understand what when you are do something, you can understand on site. So you can feel the environment actually, and it's good for your when you design something, when you put some planting or some hardscape or softscape. So this is our studio. We are doing hands-on for the design. We are also involved with the engineer for the when we are planting something, we need to do piping or something like that. We also do for the practical. So next. Okay, we also our faculty also involved with the competition, which is it's good for student to gain the knowledge, which is for competition. we are doing for construction, which is we are built a green wall. You know, nowadays, landscape architect is not only think about the environment, but they are think about the something that can make a green infrastructure. You know, you are dealing with the nature, right? We are preserving, and then we are producing a quality environment and also a good safety, and all these things comes from landscape architects and not come from the architect itself or engineer, but landscape architect can produce a quality environment for your country. Okay, so this is our process during Floria, which is Malaysian. We will do Floria activities competition for student build in every year. So from the actually good for you because you can go to site, you can feel how your work day from the during morning until the late night, and then you are actually when you are work, you can biasa, kamu sudah biasa dengan semua ni. Jadi kamu tidak kaget gitu. Jadi itu sangat bagus ya untuk kamu belajar jika kamu ada peluang untuk lecturer kamu buat begini, itu sangat bagus kerana even we are women, we actually can do a construction work. So for this competition, we are winning for the bronze award. Okay, so Seng. Sorry
Oh,
ya
okay.
kalau ngomongnya itu laju banget.
Okay. So I have received a private message from Intan. Before I start my speech, can I allow the host is greeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sheng, is it okay or
Yes.
hello?
Yes.
Okay. So how are you guys doing these days? Is everything doing okay?
Yeah. Actually, in Malaysia now, we are not in movement control, but we still fighting the pandemic, like going out, we wearing the mask and so on. But the daily life, we still can goes on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There is no lockdown anymore, right?
Yeah, no lockdown anymore. Actually.
What you guys usually do during this pandemic?
What usually do for you guys information, actually we are from the final year students. Now we are having our internship right now, so in the weekday we going to the office like usual. So I my personally spending my weekdays in the work, yeah, as a landscape consultant firm assistant. Yeah. So basically everything is going okay. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, good. Internship? Wow, it's very good, interesting. Okay, so how are people there in Malaysia holding up with this current pandemic situation?
Can you repeat the questions?
How are people there in Malaysia holding up with this current pandemic situation?
Oh, actually, people are stressed out there because right now the case actually is not stable. So what we are doing right now is follow the SOP, which is wearing mask is mandatory at the outside, and always sanitize your hands, keep up the hygienes practice, and social interacting distance, keeping that. Yeah. How's about Indonesia?
The to here. I'm sorry. I think my connection is unstable.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. You guys can continue your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so I will continue to share my screen. Um, okay. So let's start. You guys can see the slide, right? Okay, now. Okay. For my experience as a landscape architecture students, before I share my experience, I'm gonna introduce again for myself. My name is Ho Shao Sengs, and I'm a landscape architecture student in the final years. So currently having my internship, and these are the experience I'm going to share. So from the photos, you guys can see actually most of the photo is like in the group. The first one is the group photo in the studio in semester uh, 4, I think. This is the studio where is we are exposed to the urban design studio, which is we are giving a site in the urban, and we are going to solve the problem in the site. Okay. Before, besides the studies, actually we are involved in many outdoor activity as well. Actually, such as the ALAM, which is the Associations of Landscape Architecture Students events. This is the first event that we are handling by ourselves, our studios. So this activity is inviting the landscape architecture students from the Malaysia and around the world. So yeah, as you can see, this photo is involved with your seniors and Ambon and so on that from Indonesia as well. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm experienced in along these 3 years is as the landscape architecture students, actually we are connecting with each other. It's I'm feeling happy because as a landscape architecture student, uh, I managed to meet the people all around the world, such as from Indonesia, from Korea, from China, and we are doing the same things that's connecting us by the landscape. This is one of the interesting thing that I experienced in as a landscape architecture students. So I'm further explain about the photos. Uh, the middle of the photo is me and my group mate, which is the exchange student from Indonesia. Her name is Hanima. We work as a group, and then we complete the studios, which is the the sensitive area design studio, and then we are go through the happiness throughout the project. So next, we are going to explain about the expectations versus the reality of the landscape architecture students. Before that, I'm going to further share about what expectations and the reality before me entering these courses. Okay. Um, my background is I am the uh, pure science students. So I apply University Putra Malaysia through our educated system called SPM. So I apply UPM. But before I applied this university and this course, actually, the knowledge about this course is very less. I was thinking about the landscape architect is only planting the trees and designing the tray around with the green, with the trees, with the shrubs. But there is a lot of uh, difference after I'm taking this course. Okay, so if I'm let it to the Aina to expand first the expectation versus the reality. Okay, so Aina.
Yeah, when it's a normal thing when we are expect something, but when the reality is not going to be something that we are things. Yeah, it's just like a landscape. So I also before this I taking a diploma of landscape management, which is more to the management things before I go through for I continue my studies on Bachelor of Landscape Architect. So different things between landscape management and landscape architects. They are in my landscape management. They are more to the manage, the outdoor things and all the landscape things. And but for the landscape architect, before I go for my further study, I was searching about the landscape architect, and I think that it was like we design something, and then you just like your own life, and then you having a good design, and then you just simply your lecturer will proceed. But when I go through my bachelor, it's not like a reality that you are think. Actually, in this course, we are we are less of the examination, but we are through the design. There's a lot of process that we're gonna through, and then we're gonna pass. I'm sure that when you are design something, when your lecturer reject your design for the first time, I'm sure that you are disappointed, right? I'm also have a feel like that, because we are at the time we didn't know what is actually the landscape architect means. So until I'm 4th year now, and I'm currently doing intern in a consultant landscape. When you are go to the work, you are expecting that okay, you are a student and then you're intern. So you're gonna design something and your boss will proceed like your studies procedure. But actually it's totally different in your study life. When you are working with consultant, actually there's a lot of people that you have to deal. You have to deal with the contractor, you have to deal with the engineer, with the architects, you have a client that the biggest problem comes from, and then you cannot simply design something that comes from yourself. It's your design must come from client, come from engineer. There must approve your design. So when you are going to internship, I'm sure that you are gain more knowledge. So when we are talking about the landscape architect, we are expecting that okay, we are designing, but we not think we are going to through all this journey, we going to face to face on client, and then the client will throw your design, simply reject like that. So this one is all about the reality. And at the end of the day, actually you are choosing your profession. Is it you're going to through this profession, or you're going to stop at this moment? So you can choose. Actually we are profession got a lot of link, which is you can be a designer, which is a landscape architect, or your boss will put your place on the project manager. You're gonna handling on the BQ, bill of quantity, on the tendering. So you're gonna deal with your client, or you're gonna go to the site and you deal with the engineer on the site. So and lastly, you're gonna be a contractor, which is you do like a maintenance, it's more to maintenance. So it start from yourself. It's not other people like bagi nasihat sama kamu itu, oh kamu mau jadi landscape architect, jadi kamu mau tanam pokok saja hari-hari macam tu. Jadi itu datang dari kamu sendiri. Kalau kamu mau jadi yang landscape architect yang berjaya, itu kamu harus gain knowledge a lot. So when your studies process, it's good if you are doing something like we design, then we fail in design. So actually we are learn what we are fail. So it's good learning from there when you are through the landscape architect process studies from the bottom until you are realize your graduate. You think that, okay, I'm taking this course because I want to be a landscape architect. I want to build something that can give a benefit for environment. I want to give something, a space for people enjoying their life without thinking about their safety, or thinking their interaction or whatsoever. So at the end of the day, you will choose yourself. So never think that reality is going to be like what you expect. So do more. I think the studies process is good for you to learn a lot, gain a lot of knowledge. Okay. So next thing.
Okay, from me, as I mentioned just now, what I expect a landscape architect is only like managing the soft skills part, which is the green, and what I expect is a landscape architect only design for the green space and planting the trees, like, and then the job scope is only sitting in the studio, producing the drawing, designing, doing design, and most of the time is like work for individually. However, when I'm taking the landscape architecture course, the reality is not not same what as I expected. Like the reality is I have to be a multitasking person, which is I have to handling more than the one and more than one project, and I have to set up, I have to solve the problems, and then in the reality, as a landscape architect, you not only designing for the soft scape, you have to ensure the hardscape part as well, which is involved in a lot of construction works, a lot of detailing, and then you have to go to the because now I'm having my internship, so I realized that actually landscape architect have to go on site as well. This is because we have to ensure construction work on the site is right on the track. So next, the, uh, as the expectation is working alone, right, individually. But as Aina mentioned just now, actually in the real life in landscape architecture, we work as a team. In a project, we have to cooperate with many parties, which is the landscape architect, the engineer, the contractor, and so on. So for me, in the landscape architect, sure, I have learned how to do how to blend in and work as a team. This is very important as a landscape architecture. We have to manage to work as a team. So how to cooperate the other idea, how to exchange our ideas, and this is what I learned a lot from from my study life along these 4 years. And actually, before I taking the course, I was thinking that landscape architecture students, although there is no exam, not uh, not to say no exam, there is the exam, but it's lesser by comparing to the engineer student, right? I think you guys all know, right? Because our project is our marking system is by the project. So yes, we have we no need to uh, chase for the mark, the score, and we no need to we no need to study for exam. But the reality is, as a landscape architecture student, actually the project is quite heavy. The workload is heavy. You have to stay up and complete your works. Like you have to spending time in the studio. Like actually, this is my picture, and I'm doing my work in my studio. So this is one of the difference and out of my expectations, because before entering the course, I expect this course is more relaxing, more chill, because there is no exam, and then I can sleep earlier, and then the life is more regular. But the reality is not what I expected. I have to stay up. I have lots of workload. The project have to done. So, but along this process, I didn't regret, because I found out that I fall in love with this landscape architecture after I taking this course. This is because after I'm involved as a landscape architecture student, I start to more to be aware to the surrounding, what is happening to us in the surrounding world. Like, is it good design for the park, the and then the highway, is it using the right plants and so on. And then you will start aware lah about the surrounding. And another things I happy to be the landscape architecture student is because actually Aina mentioned just now, we are designing a space which is allow people to interacting. And then when you are looking at the space that people are actually using it, people are actually interacting with it, such as the park, and then you will feel the feelings that be a landscape architecture, the responsibility is, and the happiness is really out of expected as well, because you feel happy the space you are design are actually using and supported by the local peoples. So I think we are going to the next topic, which is why landscape architect needs in the future. So yeah, Aina.
So okay, back on the what Sang have said, that the experience to be a landscape architect student, which is like our topic before is we are the expecting something like your studies is gonna be good studies, and then you're not going to stay up until late night. But the reality is, we as a landscape architect, we every day we are thinking about the design, we are thinking about the problem solving. Why we are thinking about to solve the issue that's we're going to solve by designing. So actually, when we do the designing, we are we are doing something like until late night, because until the late night, then the ideas are comes to you. And sorry, because our profession is about the designing. So actually when we are cannot do this macam idea itu datang sekejap saja sama kamu. Dia akan datang, akan berperingkat. Jadi and the scope work is a lot. So we are our period time during the studies is not too much. So that's why as a landscape architect student, we need to arrange our time to produce our master plan, to having a presentation. Yes, I know the presentation usually we will kelang kabut, itu ribut-ribut mau presentation sudah, sama lecturer kata esok submission drawing, kamu semua pun macam ya ribut-ribut sudah, macam mana ni, kerja belum siap lagi. Jadi itu kan tidak bagus kan. Jadi as a landscape architect tu kamu harus susun jadualnya. For the first time I actually also don't have a good timetable, but after I understanding actually how the flow of the landscape architect, then I know to manage my time, and then start from there you can produce a good design. And your lecturer will be like, okay, this one is, your lecturer actually can detect your work is last minute work, or you take a long time to do. So beware of that. I'm also a student, so I know my studio in UPM is a good, because they give us 24 hours in studio, stay in studio. So during the next day, actually when we are that week we are having a submission, so we are coming to the class. Sometimes we are look so sleepy because we are not sleep at the night to do the design, to complete all the design stage until your presentation, your board is complete. So it's not easy to be a landscape architect student like others people thinks. Maybe others course like think like, okay, landscape architect, you just designing, so why you look so messy, so horrible, whatsoever. But the reality is we are going through this step. So when we told to people we are actually having 2 days without sleep, and then just focus on studio, we are not attend other class. It's actually no other people knows, only a landscape architect students knows. So actually this one is the process of the learning in landscape architect. When you actually understand the step, it's actually you can put your own timetable, and then you understanding your own life for your until you graduate. So when we are graduate, you realize that, oh, I can do all this easily. So there's no problem as a landscape architect student. But in the process, it's a bad, in life we have a, yang sukar, perjalanan yang sangat sukar. Jadi memang masa belajar itu ialah perjalanan yang sangat sukar. Okay, so next is why landscape architect needs in future. So why do you think a landscape architect needs in future? Because yes, we are dealing with the environment, we are protecting nature, we are also preserve area that can produce quality environment, and we also can produce park that safe for people to come. Nowadays, yes, we are having a pandemic, COVID-19. So if you can see, the percent of the environments now are good, because nowadays in Malaysia we are doing MCO. So the quality of water, the quality of air are really good, because there are less of the vehicles, there are less of the gases come from any factories. So actually this is opportunities for the landscape architect to improve the garden, or build a park even in a urban area, we can build something like, can build by doing the green infrastructure, which is nowadays technologies, I think is more better because we are having more opportunities to design. Even you are building, even the architect give you a residential that like 34 tingkat kan, tinggi, but they still have a green like that. For the area, they are still preserved for the green area. Even they are not preserved, they are still doing green vertical wall, and then sometimes for the urban area, I think nowadays in urban area is really meningkat itu dia punya landscape-nya. Jadi sangat bagus untuk kita explore sebagai landscape architect what is going to be for the next future. So Sang will explain.
Okay, thank you, Aina. So I will explain about why landscape architect is needed in future. Okay, as we can see in the slide, there is four main points, which is the protecting natural areas, green infrastructure, addressing climate change, and contribute to the economies. So for the first point, as we can know, we are dealing with nature while designing the landscape. We actually more to concern about the biodiversity, the environment, how we can um, enhance the environment while protecting them. So this is only uh, only landscape architect can do, right? Um, So this is because that's why landscape architecture is important and needs in the future. And for the infrastructure, in the picture, we can see that actually this is the design, a green infrastructure design called rain garden, which is something like a biosphere. If as an engineer, to solve water runoff problems, usually we can only at the engineering will taking the step. The solution is building the drain, right? The concrete drain along the route, beside the route. But as a landscape architect, you can use another way, which is a more environmental friendly way, such as this rain garden, which is I think I have to proud. That's the thing is I proud with the landscape architect because we both are solving the problems, right? Solving the same problem, which is the water runoff. But as the landscape architect, you have another more soft way and more efficient way to solve the problems. Yeah, and then the next is addressing climate change. Actually, the picture is from the China. One of the landscape project in China. This landscape is resilient landscape, which is during the flood seasons, the water level won't go up the bridge. Okay, so this is one of the importance of the landscape architect to design a impulsive and responsive landscape in the future. Because this is because we believe that nowadays the climate change, especially the water level, the sea level is rising, right? So many countries is facing the flooding problems. So uh, this is important for landscape architect to design the resilience and impulsive landscape in the future. Okay, the fourth is the contributing to the economy. Why I mention this point is because in a good landscape, it can bring a lot of benefits, including the economy benefit to the countries. For the example, in these photos, I taking the marine lion in the Singapore. Actually, this is the landmark for the Singapore, right? One of the landmark for the Singapore. So there is a lot of people uh, attract by this landmark and receive to the country, right? So this is one of the point that landscape architect is important in the future uh, in contributing to the economies. So I think we are going to the next slide. Okay. So I handling back to the Aina to explain the roles of the responsibility of the landscape architects. So Aina.
Okay, so this is the last slide from us. So we're gonna tell about the rules and the responsibility of a landscape architect. We are not experienced landscape architect. We just students, so we just sharing you what the knowledge that we have got in UPM, and then we are explain to you that our experience. So actually, what we got is the rules and the responsibility of the landscape architect. It's about the planning, it's about the designing, manage, and also we are taking care about the environment, which is we are deal with the space. Whatever you are design, and of course you are design a space. So before you design the space, the process is like we do before. We do the inventory, we are taking the problem, and then we are do synthesis for the problem, all the problem, and then we are come up with the issue. So from the issue that we are trying to solve by using the design, that's the landscape architect do. And then we are designing something that innovative and also aesthetic for people to use. The designing that you are design is not only for the people, but sorry, it's not for the people, but also the disabled people. You are must thinking about the kids, the young people, the old people, whatsoever. And then when we are doing designing on the space, when you are dealing with the space, you must know the surrounding. So before like we are step in UPM, yes, we go to the site every semester. That we have a different studio, which is like second year we have a site planning studio, and then we have on third year we have a sensitive area, which is how to protect the natural things. That but you not do not harm the natural thing, you not destroy the natural thing. So I think it's good in for your knowledge, or maybe your lecturer will we can follow UPM step maybe, because from the sensitive area we are designing on the like paya bakau mangrove area. So from there we can design, we are learn design something without disturb the nature, without harm the nature, because we landscape architect also protect the nature. So and then the the last sem we are dealing with the urban, which is our studio is urban planning. So and that studio we are dealing with the urban area and the heritage area. So how you gonna be design a good design, but you are protecting the heritage area. So that's why every semester we're gonna go to the site for maybe around 2 or 3 days, and then we can feel the environment. We know how the culture in there. We know how people we go to interview, then we are asking some question to take for inventory, for our inventory. We are taking a lot of picture before we designing. So that's the good step, because sometimes when you do this step and then you are deal with the area, you can understand what actually you can design in there. Even in the heritage area, you cannot simply harm the or disturb the heritage area, because it's a long time to protect. So that's why it's good for you to go. Even you are having a small site, you can go to the site and then you can feel it, how the environment on the site, how the site contact of the site. So when we are doing this, we can produce a good design, because we are understanding actually what the issue of the site. So that is what landscape architect do. Like nowadays also, we are trying to solving issues on the, even we are creating a good environment, even we are creating a green urban area whatsoever. We are protecting our earth. So because nowadays, if you are looking into future, your designing is effect or not. Even when you are designing something without you don't know what the surrounding. For example, you are designing behind the hill, so you don't know there's the hills, what the problem. And then suddenly next 5 year, your design suddenly there are a landslide in the hill. So it affects your design. So that's why when we are thinking about design, you must thinking about the future too. What will happen when you are design something like this? What will what people can do for your design? I mean, interaction for people come to your design. So that is important, because the element of the designing also is important thing, because your hardscape, your softscape, because we know about the planting. So not all planting is suitable for the urban area. Not every planting suitable for certain area. So that's why in landscape architect, we know, even architect, they don't know how to creating a landscape part. I mean, in softscape. Yes, they are good in building, but we are landscape architect. We are teaching. We are teach of the, planting plan. Like we can produce a good landscape by doing by selecting a good planting, and also the hardscape. So what's your achievement for your hardscape? Is actually just something like a playground. Okay, you build playground there just for full the space, or you want people come to the space using your design. So that is very important when you are design something, even their internal or external area. So yeah, I think that's all from us. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit faster, because I'm also a student, so I don't say talking in English. So yeah, before I end, I have one quote, which is, when you are looking deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. There is a quote is for me, because I think when you are looking something, you are looking in your eyes, but actually you are thinking in your mind what you're gonna be in future. You are think, okay, maybe one day you will be a good landscape architect. Maybe one day you will go for another profession, but you are think now you are in landscape architect, so just go for landscape architect. So just proceed whatever. Maybe you are crying some one day because your lecturer rejecting your design. Is okay. That is the process of the life as a student. So never mind, you are still waking until 3 a.m. and then tomorrow you get a class, and then you say to lecturer will never understand you, because you are landscape architect student. So you are managing your own life, you are managing your own timetable. So yeah, I think I'm sharing you my knowledge. I don't know that's I have a point for you because I just sharing. So Sang, you have any word?
Uh, that's all from me as well. But uh, before we end these sessions, I think, yeah, we mentioned we just the students, and then I'm not the tip top student in the studio as well. I just sharing what I feel throughout these 4 years, yeah, these 3.5 years, and then yeah, I have some to share about, which is yeah, you will feel tired throughout these courses because we have to stay up, we have a lot of assignment, but I'm going to tell you that this will be the best memory of your life, I think. Yeah, because for me, I don't think the other subject is need to stay up, and then you are working with your peers, working overnight in the studio and all of that, and organizing the events, and then going to the trip, going to the site. This this kind of thing, I think you don't have the chance to experience in another course. So for me, I think you should appreciate, and then I appreciate as well as a landscape architecture students, and then hopefully we will have more event like this to linking all the landscape architecture students around the world to exchange their experience. Um, so I think this is the great chance to share about as landscape architecture students. Yeah, I think that's all from me. So should be handling over to the host. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, what impressive presentation by Seng and Aina. Everything looks very exciting. But actually, I really relate with you guys about the expectation. I thought at first landscape architect is only about planting trees and stay in the studio for days, but it's actually more fun. Like we learn about build something for environment, for people, but still any plant, animal, nature, animal life still matters. We consider everything before we decide to make our design, even though it took our sleeping schedule, but I think yeah, it's a really cool with the, because we take care of climate change issue also. I'm happy because it's not only about planting. But first, I wanna ask from both of you as a professional landscape architect student. I'm so interested with the harvesting thingy. It seems really fun. But actually, what is the difficulty when you harvest the plant from the ground?
The okay, I will explain about the picture because the picture that I showed just now is we are doing the landscape work, right? We are going to plant we are going to grow our own plants. Okay, this is the course in UPM we call the course like landscape management. So in this course we have to go on site, and then we have to hand over to we have to handling the go out the planting process. We have to manage a hollow space, given a space, and then we have to uh, bercucuk tanah, yeah, what we call it. Like we manage the place, and then we plant the plants, we grow the plants, we watering, we set up the the irrigating system, and then we grow the plants, and then we harvest. So I think this course is important for landscape architecture student, because actually most of the time the student is learning about the theory, right? We learning about the plants theory, but we don't know how to practice practical in the real life, right? So through this course, we have to do it by ourselves, so we can experience that how hard the plants to be grown. So yeah, this is the best part being the landscape architecture student in UPM as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. From their presentation, I believe everyone has some question to ask. So if you have any questions, you could turn on your microphone and ask, or maybe you can ask it through the chat column and I will read it to you. I will read the first question from our professor, Mrs. Ina. Wait. Hi, I'm Ina Krisantia. Nice to meet you. For practical practice in UPM, they more allow students to do the outdoor work. Like, oh no, it's not, it's the answer. Okay, sorry. Okay, this one. I have been joined to teach planting design and studio site planning, studio reka bentuk with Ashraf, Dr. Fazamina, Dr. Samsul in FRSB Jabatan Seni Bina Lanskap for 5 years during my PhD student in landscape studies in FRSB UPM. I have more experience. Can you explain about practical practice in UPM?
So for the practical practice is meanings in the work, the site work or the internship. I a little bit confused about the questions. Is the practical work, practical practice?
Yeah.
Is it about the planting that I
No.
mentioned?
Can I explain you? Okay.
Yeah.
It's better I speak Malaya. It's better.
Okay.
Ya, oke. Macam ini. Saya nak tanya, kalau di UPM itu dia praktik-praktik internship. Itu tak salah adalah 1 bulan. 6 bulan. Ya.
Yes,
The whole semester you stay in the internship. Ya kan? Nah, it's different with in di Trisakti. Trisakti di Trisakti is practical practice in the same the student must be ambil kelas juga di kampus. Nah, kalau di UPN tak, apakah masih macam itu? Pertanyaan saya. Oke, masih macam itu ya. Oke. Nah, kemudian apakah masih sama seperti yang lalu 6 bulan? Itu pertanyaan saya. Masih sama ya?
Oh, oke, ya.
Oke. Itu saja. Okay. Saya ingin kasih tahu kepada mahasiswa di Trisakti bahwa di UPM itu beda. Karena dia betul-betul 6 bulan. Ini yang akan kami perjuangkan. Kami ingin perjuangkan supaya mahasiswa kami itu bisa macam di UPM. Karena saya senang sekali dan juga waktu di UPM itu saya kebetulan kan sebagai invited lecturer ya. Lecturer, saya juga datang ke you punya company. Saya akan uji, ya kan, maksudnya kita ngelihat, menilai gitu, macam itu aja. Jadi maksud saya waktu saya bicarakan mungkin mereka tak percaya, tapi kalau you yang bicara pasti mereka percaya. Kan you explain itu maksud saya.
Ya, betul. Di UPM ya kami keseluruhannya ada 8 semester, tetapi semester ke-7 kami internship for 6 months lah untuk, tapi itu tiada apa-apa subjek di universiti. Kami just fokus untuk internship saja. Jadi tiada gangguan apa-apa di universiti ya.
Oke. Ya, itu saja saya ingin tanya itu. Berarti masih berlangsung macam itu ya. Itu adalah sangat bagus sekali ya.
Terima kasih.
Okay. The next question from Tegar Antasari. Hello Aina and Hao Xiaocheng. My name is Tegar Anugrah Antasari from Trisakti University, majoring in Landscape Architecture 2020. Your presentation was very satisfying and useful for all of us. I would like to ask you beforehand, what are the difficulties for you being a landscape architect especially in this pandemic situation? Thank you.
Oh, there is a lot of
I
difficulties.
think it's not for a landscape architect, but as a
Yes.
student in landscape architect, maybe maybe we can answer because we are not landscape architect yet.
Yeah, but I can answer for as a landscape architecture student throughout these pandemic situations. Is a lot of difficulties as we know. Uh, landscape architecture studio, we have to create critique with the lecturer, right? We have to ask for the design and keep updating our progress. So during the pandemic situations, during the MCO, we are working at home, work from home. Then normal lah, because as we are human. So when we staying at home, and then there is some a lot of macam masa feeling lazy to work, and then there is a lot of tracking on the progress. So for me, it's a challenging time during the pandemic, and you have to done the work in the same time. Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
think.
What about you, Aina?
Yeah, I think for me it's so difficult, if especially when we are doing our studio, which is last time we are taking urban studio, which is the urban studio yang paling, kalau dalam UPM tu yang dipanggilnya paling susah sekali. Paling memang kami pun agak kaget ya gitu. Tiba-tiba MCO. Jadi selepas saja site visit, kami terus kena MCO. Jadi dia punya prosedur tu sudah berbeza kan. Jadi prosedur tu kamu melalui rumah, kamu design dan kamu hanya create melalui WhatsApp saja. Jadi kamu tak boleh nak explain more to the lecturer. So and lecturer sometimes don't understand your design. So I think it's so difficult because we cannot face to face with our lecturer. And sometimes ya kamu tahu aja, kalau sudah di rumah itu banyak itu gangguannya. Itu sana sini mau panggil kamu yang kerja rumah lagi, tapi masih boleh kira manage your own time to do before the submission. But the submission process we are still same with the previously before MCO. We are still do submission the date, but they are extend. Tapi kalau extend pun saya rasa macam tidak cukup kan, sebab itu kamu still berjaga malam, and then your parents doesn't know your life in campus kan. Jadi dia kaget kamu masih lagi berjaga pukul 2-3 pagi. Jadi ya, itu sebenarnya reality you show your family is your difficult thing in landscape architect. So when you are graduate, I'm sure that your parents very proud of you when they are see your hard working during the MCO time. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. Move to the next question is from Marsha Zanita. I want to know what's motivate you to choose landscape architect. By the way, I love how Aina spoke with bahasa Melayu.
Ya, terima kasih ya, sebab saya boleh berbahasa Indon sikit-sikit sebab saya juga orang Jawa.
Oh.
Ya, bisa ngomong gitu. Ya, I think apa yang menjadi inspirasi untuk saya menjadi landscape architect, actually secara jujurnya dari hati ya, itu saya sebenarnya mau lari untuk something yang itu calculation. So when you are expecting that LAR is to be designing, you are playing with, ya kamu lukis-lukis saja. But when you are go through this studies, and then you just realize that, oh, ini bukan mau lukis-lukis saja ya, itu mau buat itu VQ, mau itu buat tendering, mau itu lagi fikir macam mana mau design untuk orang. Itu klien pun sama, masa mula-mula itu saya memang agak down. So So lecturer reject kamu punya design. What is this? They don't understand because we don't understand what actually landscape architect. So we are going through this step until I realized that okay, I understand landscape architect is not easy like you think. So my family also give me support to do this, and then you just see your surrounding. What's you think that what's going to be happen in future. So when you are young, when you are having a kid, then your kid will ask you, "Mom, what you did in your during your studies? Did you change everything for your design for something like okay, you do the design and then the design until your kids come to your design, then she asking you why you do this, why you do this." So actually, you must know that our profession is always full of why and why and why. So I know that your lecturer also asking you why you do this, why you put this on this, why you do so this one is you know the memang benda tu memang biasa aja bagi itu. Jadi yang motivasinya itu memang datang dari diri sendiri bila kita faham benda tu secara mendalam. Bila kita belajar satu persatu stepnya, jadi kita rasa benda tu ya gampang aja rasanya. Tapi yang masih mau menangis ya, mau habiskan belajarnya.
What about Cheng?
Okay, for me, actually, I fall in love during throughout the as a landscape architecture student. Okay, before this, I didn't love or didn't like this course as well. The moment that motivate me to be the landscape architect is because actually when you design the landscape the landscape actually you can look at the changes time by time because when you putting the trees, you design the trees will go up, and then the changes will we can see the changes by time. That is quite amaze me when I'm taking in this course because I don't think the other the other subject or the other field will have this same experience as a landscape architecture. Yeah. So looking at the changes in the site, it's motivate me to be the landscape architect. Yeah.
Okay. Next to question from Rafli Rizky Ramadan. Thank you for the amazing presentation. My name is Rafli. Currently, I'm majoring in industrial engineering at Telkom University. I would like to ask you a question. Is it possible for landscape architecture to be able to reach or socialize to the majority of the society? Because as far as I know, in Indonesia, there are not many landscape architect graduates. What do you think is the most possible way? Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said before, it's important for us to show to others that our profession is actually there's a lot of link because untuk orang tidak tahu kamu punya profession itu sebenarnya apa, dia tidak tahu. Kalau orang biasa itu saja kalau kamu cakap itu landscape architect, mereka tidak tahu, mereka tidak faham. Jadi itulah kamu perlu keluarkan diri kamu sendiri itu untuk orang mengenali kamu. Jadi kamu sebagai landscape landscape architect, kamu perlu mendedahkan your knowledge, even though you're still a student, but you still can give awareness for people to understand what is actually the importance of landscape architect. Because seperti yang saya cakap before this, there's not only designing, but we are also solving a problem. So kalau kamu lihat itu, even masalah kebakaran hutan ke ataupun tanah runtuh ataupun apa saja bencana banjir ke apakah, itu masih adalah di bawah tugas landscape architect sebab yang design sesuatu taman itu, yang design sesuatu kawasan itu yang namanya space is a landscape architect. So that's why we are also need untuk masyarakat kenal apa itu landscape architect. Jadi saya rasa mungkin tidak terlalu banyak di sana. Di sini juga dalam 5 universiti saja yang ada jurusan untuk sarjana, untuk bachelor. So jadi kami melakukan that's why we are do the program for people know. Like untuk di Malaysia itu kami ada Floria, which is the flower punya competition, flower punya exhibition. So from there people come and they know what actually a landscape architect. So who do this? So who do this? So and then that makes people know about the landscape architect, the importance of the landscape architect. So Seng?
Yeah, for me, yes, I agree with Aina. What is Aina talking about? So basically, we have to brush up ourselves because I believe that a gold can shine in every way. So if you are good enough, you have already brushed up yourself, and then I think the person outside there can know you who you are, and then for the landscape architecture in Malaysia, actually not well known as well, because mine personally, when I explain to my family as well what course I'm taking, actually they don't know as well. So I think that there is a lot of effort to promoting landscape architect course in Malaysia or around the world as well. Yeah.
Okay, so Raffi, actually, landscape architect is involved in many things. Okay, next from Eki Akbar. Hello, Aina and Ho Xiao Seng. Thank you for a good presentation. I'm Eki Akbar from ITL Trisakti, Jakarta. I want to ask to both of you, have you ever been overwhelmed because of the many tasks and other work that you do? Thank you. Feeling overwhelmed.
Ya, itu biasa itu di landscape architect itu kan begitu banyak sekali drawing. Ya kalau mau ceritain di UPM, kami dalam satu semester itu kebiasaannya kami akan terlebih credit hours because we are take a lot of subject because to graduate, right, we have our goal for graduate. So jadi saya bagi contoh semasa kami di tahun 2, kami punya projek itu masih menggunakan tangan untuk melukis. Jadi sebelum kami menggunakan komputer saja semua. Jadi semasa itu saya rasa macam ya, kamu memang tak ada masa mau berfoya-foya, mau liburan ke apa, memang tiada masa gitu. Jadi masa itu kamu akan tahu diri kamu mana yang penting untuk kamu. Jadi bila kamu lecturer bagi kamu task, kamu tidak boleh sesuka hati bilang, tidak boleh sebab kami ada banyak lagi kerja ni, tak boleh. Jadi how to manage your own time that, okay, like me, I'm also actually athlete for UPM, so I play both for team UPM. So how I handle my time, actually masa weekend itu memang pulun, memang kami fokus pada design saja. Jadi bila kamu tengok dia punya deadline tu, kamu harus susun setiap deadline yang kamu ada. Jadi kalau kamu rasa kerja tu simple ataupun kamu rasa kerja tu susah, kamu tidak bisa buat, itu kamu bincang dengan kawan-kawan, ajak kawan-kawan, then bring your assignment do together. So that's I think the one of the cara untuk kamu buat kerja dengan cepat lah, sebab kamu buat dengan kawan-kawan kan. Jadi kamu tidak fikir seorang-seorang sampai berjam-jam, kamu waste time begitu saja. Jadi untuk design itu sendiri kamu harus lebih fokus, sebab kalau di UPM studio itu markahnya lagi tinggi daripada subjek lain. Yang tinggi dah memang jika kamu fail memang kamu akan repeat tahun. Jadi memang kami akan fokus pada studio. Whatever work you do, whatever task your lecturer given, you must handling your time. So in my second year, masa tahun 2 itu memang saya boleh katakan saya hanya tidur berapa lama saja. Cuma dalam seminggu tu ada 4 hari saya rasa saya tidak tidur untuk menyiapkan semua desain sebab by hand, dan kawasan itu sangat besar. Jadi kami pun masa tu kaget lah, baru tahun 2 tapi sudah diberi kawasan yang besar. Jadi masa tu kami akan bincang sama-sama, dan kami tak akan minta untuk extend, because student usually will ask their lecturer for extend the due date. So kami bincang elok-elok, kami minta extend tapi mungkin tidak lama, tapi kami masih boleh handle untuk kerja-kerja lain, masih boleh siap. Tapi ya, seperti kami di UPM, lecturer di fakulti lain faham kami bagaimana. Jadi ya, kalau mau submission tu muka kami ni on off saja kat kelas. Sebabnya kami lebih fokuskan kepada kerja studio. Jadi mereka tahu cari kami di mana. Memang di studio saja.
Okay, what about you, Seng?
Yeah, for me, as Aina mentioned, time management is very important. And unluckily, I'm not the earlier person. I'm the last minute person to complete the work. That not the good example to show off lah, because that this situations is from first year, because all the thing is manually, but I love to do things in last minute, but I found out that is totally wrong decisions for me, because it's really no time to complete in last minute. Okay, so after my first year, I changed my work style, which is I plan my studies. So if I giving the task, so I try to complete it. I try to complete as soon as possible, and I'm not dragging any process. This 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 practice make a good result lah for me. I can see all the works on track, and then I still have extra time to hang out with friends to work. So my point is doing things with no dragging, no dragging the process, and planning your time. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Question from Yafa Pamungkas. Hello, Aina and Ho Xiaoxiang. My name is Yafa. I'm from Lanskap Architect Trisakti University. By the way, thanks for your guys' presentation. That's really amazing. I have a question. How landscape architect can compete with a regular architect in civil engineering, because so many landscape architect projects handled by a regular architect? What do you think?
I think we are landscape architect is not going to compete with the architect and the civil engineering as well, because as we mentioned just now, actually in a process is in a real world project, actually we are working as a team. There is the architect team, the civil engineering team, the contractor. So yes, we can raise up our idea, our suggestions in the group meeting, but I don't think we are competing with each other in the real world. How about you, Aina?
Yeah, I think actually we are not competing, because as my experience, even only 6 month internship in consultant, we are working with architect, we are working with engineer, and we also involved with the client. So in my opinion, actually architect needs landscape architect, because the architect actually they don't know how to just the plan that's suitable for some area, like I mentioned before, because only landscape architect know the plant, the soil, the type of soil, because we are exposed to all these things. So when you are talking about competing, I think there's no, because I know landscape architect just new, maybe a new profession, but nowadays we also really need landscape architect, because how to solve the environment, how to solve the space or whatever, taking that people comes and still needs landscape architect. So it's not easy to deal with architect. In my experience, like last week, I deal with the architect, and then they just give me a space for designing. But I asked them, that they're actually not suitable planting here, because they are affect for the building. So they are say, oh no, they just put a space, and then they're just thinking that, oh, okay, we can plant there, but they don't know some planting that the roots will become crack the building. So that's the most important when you are designing on the urban area. So I think landscape architect is need in every project, whatever in urban or rural area, or in internal or external space, because we whatever we do now, we also think about the environment, we also think about the plan of planting. So I think nowadays people are more aware about these things, and I think landscape architect nowadays more to sharp to their activities program and their opinion to the public, because they also want know that the importance of landscape architect in the future is more, because it's relate with the environment. So yeah.
Okay, so any more question from the participant? One more question before we end this today kenalan, okay? Any more question? Okay, it seems like there's no more question from the participant. Now it's 10 minutes until the end of kenalan. Okay, so we're entering the last session. On behalf of Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Student Association, I would like to say thank you very much and a huge appreciation to Ho Xiao Sheng and Aina Mardia for sharing with us their precious experience and knowledge. Also, we are very grateful for the attendance of the Universitas Putra Malaysia, Universitas Trisakti, PDAM, Universitas Pancasila, Universitas Pembangunan Jaya, Universitas Dharma Persada, Institut Transportasi dan Logistik Trisakti, Universitas Tribuana Tunggadewi, Universitas Telkom, Universitas Bina Nusantara, SMAN 3 Babelan, Nursery Sukabumi, and freelancer to attend the 7th day of kenalan. As a token of our appreciation for Seng and Aina, valuable contribution on today's kenalan, topic interesting things in landscape architecture, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation for both of you. Congratulations. Okay, my friend will share screen the certificate. Okay, congrats.
Thank you.
Before the photo session, I have some information to share with you. Besides kenalan, we also organize student design competition. For more information about this competition, you can visit our Instagram on @hmgil_Trisakti or Hijau Jakartaku. And now we are entering today's last session. Please turn on your cameras and smile because we are entering the photo session.
All right. Turn on the camera. and I will take the photo, okay? Smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you.
Okay. For the last time of today's Kenalan, we would like to say thank you very much, and we are all very grateful for your will to attend today's Kenalan. I hope to see you guys soon in the last day of Kenalan next. I wish you all always stay healthy and happy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Aina. Thank you, Sheng.
Bye. Thank you.
Nice to meet you all. Sampai ketemu lagi ya.
Ya, sampai
Ya.
ketemu lagi.
Aina,
Ya.
salam ya sama semua, sama Dr. Fazamima.
Ya, baik Bu, baik.
Aduh, salam semuanya. Saya sempat tidur di studio sama-sama dengan student BLE. Saya buat studi saya betul-betul menarik sekali. Salam ya.
Iya,
Iya
baik Bu.
Ya. Oke, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.